Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I spent the night here in the Hotel Maison, really nice hotel, right in the middle of Pamplona. But I had to park my bike a little bit further down the road in a garage here, so I'm not going to carry all my bags. So I'm going to go and get the bike, bring it back to the hotel, get loaded up, and then we're going to head off into the Pyrenees. Do you know, the one problem with this helmet, with the GoPro on the front of it, it's got a lot of weight on it, so it keeps pulling the front of the helmet down, which is really annoying. Okay, let's go. So, after yesterday's disappointing, well, discovery, me trying to go up to the top of that, find that castle place, after yesterday's disappointment, I'm going to try again. This is a different place that I found on Google Maps again. I was just sort of scanning the route and I discovered this kind of empty village. So let's go and see if we can get anywhere near it. The road is blocked, but I'm hoping that I will still be able to kind of work my way up there on the bike. We shall see. I think there it is up there. Well, that must be it. But I honestly have no idea if I'm going to be able to get up there on the bike. I guess I could park up, but I'd really rather not do that. I also don't want to get in any trouble. So let's see. Okay, I can see that the road that's obviously the way up, and it's obviously blocked. So let's see if I can just sneak up without anyone seeing me. Yeah, I can get through that. I can get through that. The panniers are quite wide. Let's not knock one off. Oh. I genuinely don't know if I'm allowed up here or not, but what's the worst that could happen? Well, the road is really clean. I can't imagine that. I'm imagining loads of people come up here, but clearly not on car, not by car. Oh wow. Okay, this is going to be good. I'm going to turn the bike around. Don't laugh, but just in case I need to get a bit of a quick getaway. Not that you can do anything quick on this bike, but what we know is no other car can come up. So let's just put this here. So this is Tiermas. It's located just south of the Pyrenees, and it's a village that was abandoned in the 1960s when they built the Yessa Reservoir, which is just down there. We'll see if we can see it in a minute. It's actually got so much history. It goes all the way back to Roman times, and the reasons the Romans built here, and it was actually a main thoroughfare, one of the main Roman roads ran through here, was because of the excellent springs that were bubbling up in this area. But sadly, in the 1960s, they built the Yesa reservoir, and that meant that everybody that was living here, they had to move on, they had to relocate. They were apparently compensated, although there remains a lot of controversy surrounding this, whether they were compensated enough, the lack of community and everything. The community obviously just died, it goes without saying. But it's a really remarkable place. Well, that was pretty cool. Amazing to think that the whole place was emptied out in 1960 so that they could build that reservoir, the Yesa reservoir, which apparently they're wanting to expand, which is causing even further controversy with the locals. It's interesting how it's got a really a slightly unusual green colour. If I just pull over here, I know that the GoPro's colour is not ideal. And if I don't go over the edge, you can't see it from here. Take my word for it, it's a kind of bluey green, which apparently is all to do with the minerals. Either as a direct result of the coming out of the ground, which is what happens here, or obviously all to do with the fact that they have really dug up and they dredge out the reservoir from time to time. So there you go. So I'm going to head off to, I'm sure it's pronounced Jaca, because J's are pronounced, I think, in Spain. And from there, I've got to make a decision on how I'm going to enter into the Pyrenees. It's actually really interesting. I didn't know this until I googled it. You can see the tops of lots of trees, and obviously the reason for that is that the reservoir is full at the moment. And it sounds really stupid, but I didn't know that. Obviously there were times where the reservoir must be empty or nearly empty, and of course you'll then see the whole of the tree trunk and so on. Clearly there's a huge variation with when this reservoir is full or empty, which, as I mentioned earlier, is why there's more controversy at the moment over the fact that they want to actually expand the size of this reservoir, and that may mean, you know, uprooting more communities in the area. See there, you can see loads of trees, just the tops of the trees. So I've just driven through Jaca. To be honest with you, it wasn't the prettiest of towns, so I didn't bother staying there, or stopping there rather. And I'm just heading north now, and I'm starting to see some really quite big hills. In fact, you can't see it yourself, but in the distance I think there's a bit of snow on top of some of these, which is a bit of a surprise to me, considering the time of year. Anyway, what do I know? That big decision, well, I've got a decision to make, and I really don't know yet. What is the decision? Well, there's a tunnel I can go through into the Pyrenees, into the first valley, or I can try and go over the top. And to be really honest with you, I'm a bit apprehensive. I actually don't know what the roads are like up there, so I don't know what to do. I'm going to get a little bit closer, and then I've got to make a decision one way or the other. So I've got to make a decision now. Am I going to try to go through the tunnel, which is what I probably should do, or I'm going to just have a little look down here, or should I try to go over the top? Basically, if I go through the tunnel, it takes me into the first valley, and I just don't know what to do. I'm going to have a little look down here. It's been so I mean, I'll be really honest with you, I'm just a little bit intimidated. Probably proper riders are thinking, well, just go over the top. But I've had such a positive experience so far, I don't want to scare myself. That's the truth. So let me pull over and have a little think about this for a second. So he's going over the top. They are going over the top. That's the only reason they'd be going here. Because the only other route was well, the other route is through the town. And he's obviously probably come through. I'm thinking I'm going to have a go at going over the top. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's scare myself. But what we'll do first of all is we'll initially put it in gear. That way I'll go a little bit faster as well. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll have a try. And if I get a bit nervous, I'm turning round. This is easy. What am I worrying about? This isn't. I was imagining it might be some tiny little road. Wow. I'll tell you what though, it's getting colder. It was 20 degrees 10 minutes ago. It's now 12. Stephen, if you're watching this, you should be here with me. But don't tell Mum I said that. We're getting into the cloud. And it's now down to 10 degrees, see? I'm just going to take it a bit slower. I was getting a bit ahead of myself back there. Can't really see a lot, and we're down to 8 degrees. Ooh. Do you know what? I'm just going to keep going. I keep seeing things that catch my eye to have a little look at, but I'm just going to keep going for now. I wish I could see the view. But I'm presuming we'll pop at the bottom of this cloud in a second. wonder if the temperature is directly affected by the cloud. Like when you get into the cloud, does that in itself actually drop the temperature a degree or two? Because obviously the cloud is just moisture, isn't it? It's starting to lighten up a little bit now, but I still can't see much. Well, I can see the road. So obviously it must be the case that that is closed for most of the winter, I can only assume. For snow, I can only assume that must be closed. Car right up my backside, so I'm going to let him pass. There you go, we did it. That was my first proper pass, and you know what, it was easy. So there I was thinking I was going to come through that tunnel there, and I didn't, and thank goodness I didn't. So I won't be doing any more of that. However, what I forgot to mention is I'm in France, so obviously that's pretty cool, isn't it? Now I speak very little French, I speak a little bit of Spanish. Liana, my wife, speaks much more than me. However, so we'll get by. We'll struggle, we'll get by, and we're just going to enjoy it now moving forwards. So I'm just going to make my way north now, up towards, I forgot the name of the town. Anyway, there's about 3 or 4 little villages that I want to just drive through, and then I'm going to end up in this one town at the end, and we will crash there for the night. It's gone a bit rain. It's got a bit rainy. I say a bit. It's quite a lot actually. But anyway, I'm not as worried as I was when I was in France. I don't know if you've watched those videos, you'll know I was constantly bothered by the rain because I didn't have a decent jacket. But this is a decent jacket. It's not got a lot of insulation qualities to it, but it is waterproof. So apart from my helmet steaming up, we don't really mind the rain, and it really is steaming up. Let's crack it a bit, there we go. So this is Pau. Now some of you may recall, if you watched my previous videos, one of my big worries was always that I had to book accommodation well in advance, usually at least the night before. And I got a real hang up about it because I like to know where I'm going. I like to know I've got somewhere kind of booked in case I struggle. Anyway, it was silly really, because as I learned from my last trip, there's always places to stay. This time I'm really trying not to do that, and so I've literally just found somewhere online on booking.com 5 minutes ago, and I've kind of reserved it. I probably didn't need to, I could probably just walk in. And so let's go and see if it's okay. I'm sure it will be. that's it. So that's the hotel. Hotel Bristol caught my eye because that's obviously Bristol's my home city now, and it looks like they've got parking as well. So let me just not drop the bike. Oh, I've got to park it next to the 1300, haven't I? Look at that. Wow, that's got to be a good omen. So yeah, that'll do. I will get in the hotel room and we'll catch up then. So I'm settled in the hotel, and it is a really nice hotel, by the way. Nothing like the one I was staying at yesterday. This is a really nice place. What a fantastic day's ride. I really enjoyed it. I thought I was going to scare myself a little bit going over the top of that mountain, but it was nothing. And it makes me feel a bit more emboldened when it comes to some of the other passes that I'm going to be traveling through over the next few days. And we have got 2 days of really, really good weather ahead of us. But to show you briefly where I am on the world's smallest map. So I started off in Pamplona. We travelled east around that lake there, or rather the reservoir. You remember we explored that place. Jaca, and then north over into France, and I'm now in Pau. And I'm going to be travelling east now. I'm going to be sort of popping in and out of the Pyrenees, and maybe kind of traversing a little bit more back into Spain as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click on the like button, and please subscribe and click that bell notification icon, so that way you don't miss out on any of the future videos that are going to be coming your way.